Greetings. My name is Richard Dickson, and you're watching part 1 of 8 ways to enlist music worship leaders for your church. In this video, you'll see my introduction and the first 2 ways of the 8 ways to enlist music worship leaders. Before we begin, if you like this information, please click the thumbs up down below. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. There'll be links to the full 20-minute video of this material, and also links to parts 2 and 3 in the description below. If you find this material helpful, please feel free to share it with others you know who may be looking for music worship leaders in their church. Now, let's watch part 1. Greetings. I want to talk with you about 8 ways to enlist music leaders for your church. My name is Richard Dickson, and I've been a minister of music, music director, music worship leader since 1982. And I wanted to share with you today 8 ways that can help your church enlist music leaders to assist in your congregational worship. These are not all the ideas that there are. They may or may not work for you. But in my experience, these are some of the ideas that have worked or that I've seen work for others. So I wanted to share them with you today in the hopes that perhaps they would help your church in enlisting the worship leaders that you need. Down through the years of ministry, I've worked in primarily what could be considered small to medium churches. And I've found some of these methods useful in helping me to enlist worship leaders in the churches that I've served. So let's dive right in. The first of these ways to enlist worship leaders sounds very obvious, but I have found that it is very useful, and if one tries any other way without this particular method, I am not sure how successful those enlisted leaders will be in leading your worship music ministry. The first of these ways is to pray and trust God. It sounds really obvious for churches and ministers to approach this process in this way. But sometimes we fail to do that. And though it seems to be very obvious, without prayer and trusting God, those leaders that we try to enlist may not be the best fit and the best leaders for our churches. Pray and trust God. In one of the churches that I served, we were beginning a new worship service, and we needed some additional musicians for this service. I was encouraged to contact some schools and others to see if there were those who wanted to come for the experience. I would just say that that's probably not going to happen. It may, but I'll get to that in a few moments. But what I found, it wasn't those contacts that I made that brought in the musicians that we needed for that service. Over time, as we prayed and as we trusted God to provide the leaders that we needed, I discovered that some of the musicians that we needed were in our church, or people who were in our church were related to musicians who came and showed an interest in playing in our group. Over that time, we had a keyboard. A young lady came wanting to play the keyboard. We had one of my choir members, her son-in-law was a fantastic bass guitar player. We had several singers that were volunteering to come and share with us. We had a guitar player, a young man who was in the church who was willing to play the guitar while we started up. And in the church we had a drummer that was willing to play the drums for us. And over time, as the service grew, we got to where we had additional guitar players who came up, additional singers who came into the ministry of our church, and we actually ended up with 3 drummers, 2 of which were of a studio caliber. So we had some great musicians that came and wanted to be a part of our church's worship ministry because we just trusted God to provide those players, those singers that we needed to serve in that church in that time. The second thing that I would encourage you to do is to look out over your congregation, to see those who are involved in singing, who are involved in the music and just have a heart for music. Those are the people that I would look to and begin to invite, maybe to come and join you on the platform and face the congregation, be a team leader, or just to stand there and experience what it's like to stand in front of a congregation and sing. And then to provide them with training and opportunities to sing and to lead the music in your worship. It's a great opportunity for you to enlist a music leader, your first music leader, or additional music leaders. I would encourage you to do that. Look at your congregation and see who's there and who has a heart for music and worship through music. As you discover these people, I would suggest that you perhaps look for conferences or seminars that they could attend. Maybe there's another music leader in your community that could provide them with some guidance or some training, basic training. There are some YouTube videos that you can go to find help for those people who have shown an interest in leading the music in your church. Thank you for watching part 1 of 8 ways to enlist music worship leaders in your church. Remember, if you found this information helpful, feel free to share it with others. And please click that thumbs up down below. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave those in the comment section below. Also, if you have any other ideas or questions about music worship ministry, please leave those in the comments as well. Now, if you're ready to watch part 2, you can click here. You'll find links to all of these videos in the description below. May God bless you as you seek His will for your church.